Yes, this is a presentation on how to use document tracking and filing in the OOrang.biz module. Let's find the screen, the main screen. We click up here to backtrack to get to the main screen, which is the main menu, which is here. Document tracking and filing. So we click on that. And you get to the main screen. Let's click here to get rid of the main menu and have a wider screen. Now here is where you file your document. Here's a print of the list when it's generated. Right now you have 0 documents by default. The default list is based on the date, which is the day that you are doing the transactions. This up here is a search module whereby you could search for documents that have already been filed by entering as many as possible, as you know, of these options from date to date. If you know the range, you input that. If you don't, then you clear the dates if you don't want to limit yourself to a particular date. So we clear these. Here you enter the department if you are aware what the department is. If you are not, you leave it alone. Document type, again you pick the document type if you are aware. And again, this is when you're searching for a document. If you know the document tracking number, you enter it here. If you know whether it's an incoming, outgoing, or internal, you make your choice here. If you know who sent the document, you enter it here, and who it was addressed to, you enter it here. And these are search, drop down search. If you start looking for a particular name, as you enter, it narrows it down for you. Then you could click and pick. Alright, so let's clear that. This is a search module. Let's say in this case I want to search for all documents filed in the month of, say, March. So let me click from March 1st to the end of March. And let's say I'm not aware of anything else. I don't want to create any more limitations. I just want everything from March 1st to March 31st, 2018 in this case. So let's click on search. Here it gives me a list. In this case, 7 documents. Actually 8 documents. I could print this document over here. If I click on print that list, I could click on print. It will print the list for me. Over here I get to choose whether I want to print it, whether I want a PDF image, or whether I want to send an email of that list. Alright, so let me go back. Here you could change the size. Of the image. You could do any corrections. So let's go back to our screen. So again, this is a search module where you make your search, and when you identify what you're looking for, you could print it, you could choose it. So let's try that one more time. Over here you say March 1st, and here say the end of March. Let's create the list. 8 documents retrieved. Now let's say, for example, I want to retrieve this image here. This, as you can see, has 3 images. Let's try this one with the multiple images. If I right click here and open the link in a new tab, and watch the screen, it will retrieve for me the information on that particular document. And again, these are previously filed documents. We're going through initially how to search for a document, how to retrieve it, and also how to update it. Now, this is information about that particular file. I could add additional files from here if I need to add more. I have 3 pages now. I could first have to click on edit to make any changes. Delete, of course, deletes it. And this delete and edit options, admin has control over. So as an admin, you can limit your employees to the delete or the edit options. Alright. So assuming you want to edit, then you have to click on edit. Now you can edit information. You could delete by clicking on this red X to delete one of these images. You could go in and change this from an incoming document to maybe an outgoing document or internal, for example, but I will leave it the same in this case. I could change this, the document type. You could change the department, description, and so on. The filing location, which shelf, let's say we change it from cabinet 3 lower, let's say we want to put it in cabinet 6 shelf A, 6 lower shelf A. So that has been changed. Alright, now once I've made my changes, I have to submit. And again, you could also add another image by clicking on choose files, and it will take you to your laptop memory, where you could maybe under pictures or wherever you had saved the document that you want to add. So once we submitted, we are back on this screen. You have the option again to edit and delete. Go to list. Go to list puts you back in the original screen. Let's try that. So that assumes you're done with that particular document, puts you back here to do what you need to do, maybe if you want to do something else. So now let's go through add document tracking. Here's when you file originally a document. So you click on add document tracking. Now you could scroll up and down here. The first thing you want to choose whether this is an incoming, an outgoing, or an internal memo. Let's assume it is an incoming document. Alright, document type, let's say it is a clearing document, CD. Which department? Let's assume that it is a bank advice related to to bank correspondence. So I will click on correspondence bank, department 004. Description, here you have to enter the topic of the letter. So maybe we can say click inside the box and say maybe letter from, say, GTB Bank. Let's say reference letter of credit, reference clearing, excuse my typing here, clearing documents. Filing location, again, this is information you preset under the settings section. Let's say this is going to be filed at head office, the lower hallway where the cabinets are. So let's say I'm putting it in cabinet 5. So if I start typing the number 5 and maybe L for lower, gives me the 3 options. Shelf A upper, meaning B middle, C lower, right? Let's say I have it in shelf B, the middle shelf, so I will click on this. So this is where it's filed, the physical paper. The original is in cabinet 5 lower, shelf B. Nevertheless, the electronic will be filed right now electronically, and the electronic copy can be retrieved without needing to retrieve the physical copy, except in rare cases. Filing date will be today's date, for example. So let's say April 4th or 3rd. Accept that. Document date, assume the document was March 30th. So this is the document date. Document from, we say GTB Bank, so let's click on GTB, and again the from, the to, and many of these are preset under the settings where you get to direct it. And let's say this is the address to a certain Mr. say Solanki. Alright, or probably maybe a certain Mariatu Kamara. Alright, and this list pulls from your users in the company. And when you learn where to enter the list of your users, this is where this address to. Now mind you, again, there is an incoming document. When it's an incoming document, your address to will be the list of the users or company employees, while the document from will be the external. Mind you, this switches when you choose outgoing, for example. So let's do a quick test. If I change this to outgoing, now when I come to document from, see, it switched. Now I am pulling from the list of the employees. An address to becomes my list of companies that I correspond with. And again, you could add to this list and in the company setting the admin module. So let's say this was GTB. Alright, so this is outgoing. A certain Mr. Mansari sent a letter to GTB in reference to clearing documents. Document handed over by, this is the person who handed the document over to the clerk. Information might be useful to some, might not be. So you can maybe put a certain James, maybe James reception. James at reception, right? Again, this is an example. This is where you choose the image. So you click here. Now the image you should have already scanned and saved in memory. Let's say, for example, I choose this particular image, for example. So let me click on it. Open. Now it's saved here. Alright. Now, restricted view, if you click on restricted view, that's giving the admin power that only admin can view this after you file it. Or in most cases, the admin himself or his private secretary or whoever is assigned will be the one filing this document. And restricted view prevents any other employee who have access to the module from accessing this particular piece of information. So let's untick it for now and check it. So now we have entered everything, and let us submit. Added successfully. Alright, so here we see that here's a copy of what you just did. If you want to edit, you edit here, delete. Let's say you want to view this document, then you can click on it. Let me right click, open in a new tab. Right, and here the document tracking number. If I want to print here, it tells you 1 of 1. There's only one sheet. If you click on print, you will have the option of printing that sheet. Alright, now load in preview. So over here you could change the printer. Cancel, you print. So now we're waiting for the loading. Printer is not connected at this moment. Let's see. should still show. Alright, here you have one sheet, so it is about to appear. The image will appear here, and over here we can make any changes. You could change the landscape over here, the number of copies, print, choose which pages you want to print. This of course depends on the type of machine you're using. So here you have a printout of the image which the manager can view electronically and make a copy if need be. So let's cancel the print, and let's go back to the document that we were viewing. So we went through the editing, the delete. Excuse me. Go back to list. Now here we have an option. Let's say you want to send an email with the secretary. Instead of sending a hard copy to the manager, she's going to send him an electronic copy and file the original document. So if we click on email document, if you come under users here, you could choose the employee or manager that you want to send the email to. Alright. So let's say we want to send an email to a certain Michael Mansuri. Click on him and you see his name up here. You could send multiple emails. Let's say we also want to send an email to a certain Almami Sise. Now you have 2. Let's also an Amadou, 3, and so on, right? You could click deselect if you want to cancel everything and maybe re-choose whoever you want to. Alright, here you put a comment that will comment to the person receiving letter. Maybe say clear in documents, etc., etc., right? And so on. Now once you submit, this particular person will receive that email. Email sent successfully. So again, you could distribute the email, a copy of the document, without actually needing to make hard copies, or actually moving the original document and taking a chance of probably losing it with one of the managers or whoever is viewing it, possibly. Now again, we have one more module to discuss. And that is the create document movement. If for some reason you need to actually move the physical copy, maybe refile it somewhere else, or maybe give it to a manager who wants to view it. In that case, you will have to do that on the create document movement and this document tracking detail section. So first you have to locate the document, probably through a search. And when you identify it, then you go to create document movement. Now it tells you the document number from to, let's say this is going to in this case is moving to a particular manager under the users list. Let's assume it was a certain Milford who wanted to see the document. And then here the transfer date, let's say today, and let's submit. Added successfully. So the document is no longer where in its actual location. So this is the actual physical normal location, usual location. But now, when you don't find it here, this history is going to tell you that, oh, this went to Milford, who never returned it, right? And this one here with the from you to comment and date is an actual record of the emails, the electronic transfers, and this is the physical to, from to user. Now this will conclude this presentation. I will review quickly and backtrack to the actual filing. So again, go back to list. Here you email, here you create a movement. The email and the movement record are going to be tagged under the document tracking details. So any movement will be recorded. This one with the to and the person's name identifies the physical movement. This one identifies that the user account I'm using right now is called Mariatu to Almami Sise. This is electronic transfer via email. Alright, this is the comment we put, and this is the date and time. Alright, so once again this all starts. Now if I go back to list, it's going to put me where this all started. It's a document tracking and filing over here, right? So I could click on this, that I'm done with this. I want to leave it alone and go back to the original menu or the original screen. So once again, this is what I click on to file a document. I could select whether it's an incoming document, meaning from an outside company or a source coming in, Or I could go outgoing, meaning one of the managers or employees is sending a document to an outside source, or an internal document. An internal document meaning it's from one employee to another. Document type again. Let's say vehicle repair example. Which department? Let me say maybe let me say vehicle. See if you have anything under vehicles. Okay. Let's say operation and maintenance of vehicle. So we choose this department. Description again. The description, click inside there. Let's say vehicle maintenance. Example. Now filing location. Let's say it was in let's say in cabinet 2 upper shelf C, from date today, except, and document date, let's say a few days earlier, example. Now the thing to note when it's an internal document, from and to is going to give you a list of the employees. So maybe this particular employee sending a memo to maybe to this one here, for example, right? So based on what you choose up here, whether it's incoming, outgoing, or internal, you are going to have a variation of the options, the drop-down list from document and address to. Document handed over by, that is not the one filing, that is just who the person who gave the document physically to the filing clerk. Some companies find that information useful to track any discrepancies with the document or the date of filing and so on. And again, here you choose the file, here is the restricted view, and so on. And again, if you file this, it's going to take you to where you can, let's just put anything here. And let's choose a file. Alright. Let's pick this one. We don't want to restrict the view. Submit. Again, once you submit, it puts you where you can review the document, make changes, email the document, create a movement, physical movement, edit, delete, and so on, right? And of course print. You can open link in new tab, view the document, and of course then you can print can print here. Alright. Let's go back. Go back again. With that, we conclude this. Please provide any feedback, recommendations, comments, without any hesitation, please, to help us improve the module and help us create a document that's more user-friendly and more helpful to you in applying this particular need. Thank you very much, and we will meet again when presenting the next video. Thank you very much.